Yo, if you man's outside.
What's happening, people? What a way to start the podcast there. Are you man's outside? What's happening, people? United Centrally back with another podcast. This is the Straightjacket podcast 105. You get me? Straightjacket podcast sponsored by the One Football app. Make sure you go download it. Link is in the description below. All your latest football news, transfer news. As you can see, you get me? Transfer news is happening right now. Go check it out, guys. Lingard on the move. Lots of talking points about Man United. So go check it out. Link is in the description. Shout out to One Football app for sponsoring the video. And yeah, man, we'll get cracking. Lots of talking points. Lots of news to want to talk about. But as always, we always introduce the guests. We have still our special guest from last week is back here again. 12th man. You know what I mean? The animation, the comedy. Yo, listen, big up 12th man. What are you saying?
I'm blessed, bro. What's happening? Just a little under the weather today, but I want to get involved in these conversations, cuz you know what I mean. There's a lot going on.
That's it, man.
That's it, everyone. What's good, everyone?
Yeah, man, we're good, man. Alhamdulillah, we're good, man. Big up the Pie Radio, the tropical, you know what I'm saying, outside weather, but we're still inside. You know what I was there.
Out here.
What are you saying?
Yo, first and foremost, want to say big up for having me each and every time. Secondly, this is the first link up of the year, isn't it? This is the first time we've all been on a live stream together this year.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So it's good to make it to another year. And thirdly, obviously, it was my birthday yesterday, so I'm still like not 100%. So
yo,
yeah,
happy birthday again, man. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday for real, bro. Again.
Come on, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that love. If I'm not my usual self, you know why? You know what I'm saying? Come on, Jay.
Yeah, man.
On,
happy birthday. You know what they say, man. Black don't crack. You know what I'm saying? So happy birthday. Enjoy that shit, bro. Come on.
Out here aging like wine and that. I know. You know what I'm saying?
Come on. Big up Musa in the cut as well. He's just joined in right now. Musa, how you doing? You good?
I'm good. What's going on?
Yeah, man, we're good, man. You know what I'm saying? Lockdown settings, but we're still moving. Nuruddin, is it -5 in your house right there? What's happening?
I've got the heating on full blast, mate. But you know that, innit? My East African genes ain't never getting used to this. My genes are East African, man. I'm never getting used to this, mate. I went born here like you guys.
Never, bro. Never.
Trust me, bro. I had never left my house with less than 2 layers, bro. Minimum. Minimum. Has to be at least a vest as well, bro. The only other time you're in water, innit? That's the only time I'm not wearing 2 layers, bro. Must be in water.
Man, tell them it's the East African thing, innit?
Of course, bro. Of course. I'm not gonna adapt to this code. I never will, bro.
Come on, man. Aaron, Mr. Aaron United, what's saying, bro? You good? Everything blessed?
Yeah, man. I'm great. Oh, you know, I was gonna say, you know the kit that Musa's wearing now. At the start of the season, I was like, "What is this kit?" But you know what? It's growing on me, you know.
Oh, bro, it's fire, man. All my sons have got it right now. It's fire, bro. You know what? I might actually get it. You know, seeing Musa with this year, because the way Musa's rocking it, I'm like, nah, it actually looks good. I'm gonna get it. Yeah.
The only thing what you got to do is stay away from the lions. Because those lions might be just don't move. Don't go anywhere near the zoo or anything like that. Because if you get anywhere near the zoo,
I can't like Man United. They're marketing one, bro. Because I was outraged with this kit when they came. I was already outraged by the home kit, bro. I thought, the first one looks like a bus seat print. And now this one looks like a like I don't know, like fair distract. I just kept thinking you're using this to distract, man. And that's when I knew Sancho weren't coming when this kit was launched. That's when I knew, bro. I thought you're distracting, man. The marketing campaign was too wild, bro. I thought, you ain't never announced with all of these rappers and like you ain't never done this before. Bro. So when that happened, I thought, you're not signing Sancho. You're distracted, man. You know what I mean? I don't know. I was outraged by the kit, but you're right. As time has passed, bro. Even before the season really started, bro, it kind of grew on me, bro.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
This is a summertime kit.
Yeah,
this is a holiday summertime kit.
Yeah. Defo.
With a pair of white Air Force Ones. You know what I'm saying?
It was a terrible photo shoot. They did that photo shoot on the bus. That's what it was. That's what made the kit look worse than what it was.
Yeah. That bus is back in the day, man.
Yeah, man. Them are looking like year 11s and that. Like, yo, it looked terrible.
Big up everybody who's tuning in right now. We've got Zayn Miasa here already saying Saeed is Scottish. Roberto Carlos golden season. Saka already better than Greenwood. Wow, these men are already active, man. We already got 200 people already in 5 minutes. Make sure you guys smash a like on the video. You get me? Let's go. And this is a new year, guys. So happy new year to everybody. This is the first podcast of the new year. So big up everybody. New blessings. New you get me? Love in the dunya. But we're gonna start off with some early breaking news. Darren Fletcher is a part of the backroom staff. I'm going to start with 12th man first, and we're going to go make our way around. Are you surprised by this? Is this good for United? Is this what United need right now going into Tyrese? Or are you just thinking, you know what, man, it is what it is, and you know what, let him join the kind of backroom staff who are already having some experience right now, you know what I mean? Michael Carrick and them man there.
I think, honestly speaking, I've seen a bit too much outrage for my liking. I don't understand why. It was a surprise, 100%. I didn't see it coming. It was I didn't even know they were in talks. I didn't even know he was looking to add someone in during the season. So what we're saying that there was always a space available and you've been working with one less coach. I don't know who's coming out, or is it just an addition? I don't know. With regards to Fletch, bro, at this stage, let's be real, no coach is coming in here to make a difference to the style of play to that level, firstly. So it's about possibly his experience and know-how, his relationship with players. Because apparently, like from what everyone says about Darren Fletcher, he's a really, really good guy. Someone to get along with really well. Bridges gaps between people really well. He knows the culture of the club. So there's things with that. But at the same time, bro, I would expect that he's not just being hired off of vibes or because they're friends. You know what I'm saying to you? He's one, his experience as a footballer. But two, I would assume someone like Darren Fletcher in particular has done his coaching badges. I mean, you see him when he's doing the punditry. I think he knows what he's talking about as well. Only time's going to tell. So I'm like, cool. We'll see what he's going to do. If he's got the job already, there's no point in wilding out about it. Let's see what he's going to do. How do you know he's not going to be a good coach? So let's see, innit?
Pie Radio Man, then Flawless and JV. Is this underwhelming for you? You know what I mean? Is this one of them things where you're thinking another guy is just, you know what I mean, Man United feel sorry for, you know what I mean? That kind of charity club where you're just giving out little coaching badges and that.
You know what it is, fam? It's genius. It's an absolute genius move, and I'll tell you why now. Yeah? Because we already got Carrick for the tippy-tappy, passy-passy. Yeah? Now we need the steel. My man's going to provide the steel and stamina that's needed in the centre mid. Because if you put together Darren Fletcher and Michael Carrick, you probably have a very, very good centre midfielder with their attributes. So if Carrick can pass things on and Fletcher can pass things on, especially to McTominay, I'm just happy to see what Fletcher's going to do to McTominay, because I can see him turning him into like some Scottish Gattuso fan. He's going to come like Scottish Gattuso, you boy. Yeah? Propaganda, started it. You know what I'm saying? I started it. Nah, he's going to get in. I think for someone like McTominay, that's almost like, that's an idol for McTominay. You know, for him being Scottish, same position. Do you get what I'm saying? That's someone McTominay would have looked up to as a Man United fan and a Scotsman. Do you get what I'm saying? So, for me, I think it's a good move because the people are forgetting that when he had his bowel disorder or whatever he had back in the day, he jumped on the coaching staff for a bit anyway. So, like, if man really do the homework or really know Fletcher, this ain't the first time Fletcher's been involved with us in the back room thing. You get what I'm saying? Fletcher, when he stopped playing for a bit because of that, what was it, IBS or some mad thing what he had in his belly? He had something mad, and he stopped playing. And I remember he flirted a bit with the coaching side of things. So it wouldn't surprise me if he probably started it and looked into it then, and then, you know, come back to it. But this is what I mean, right? Go back to that last comment. People are saying it's stupid and that. Any other culture, footballing culture, do this all the time, and we envy them. We look at the Bayern Munichs and go, "Well, they've got their ex guys there." We look at Barcelona and then they've got their ex guys there. Juventus, they've got their ex. Ajax, you get what I'm saying? Where do you think these men get the first chance? You get the first chance.
You know what's funny about these same comments here, yeah? These are the same man. If Man United would have hired a coach and they'd never heard of this coach's name before, but he was a coach, and they say, let's just say he came from Sevilla, yeah? He was just one of the coaches in Sevilla, and we hired him. They know nothing about this coach, but because he came from Sevilla or something, that's a good signing. That's a great signing. Oh, it's potentially a good coach. Oh, he's sick. Look what Sevilla been doing. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, like we're just hiring our ex-players, understand that. My only thing is, I'm not giving him the same dap you just gave him in terms of he's going to see what he does. I don't know. I don't have an idea of what his coaching style is. To be getting first team coaching job straight away, it's also a bit mad. But maybe he is talented enough to do that. I don't know. But I would assume, like I said, there's a bag of ex-players that want coaching jobs right now, man. There's a bag of man that he's friends with that he could have possibly got to come in as a coach. I don't think Fletcher was given this job just for the sake of it. I think he would have done his coaching badges and would have a plan of what he's supposed to be doing and a way where he can add value. Because right now, do you think Solskjaer is going to mess with his job just to bring a friend in that's just going to get sacked with him if he messes up? It doesn't make sense. Like I'm saying, I'll wait until at this moment in time. Can it go wrong? Can we do worse than we're doing? No, I think we can only get better from where we are because we've done all the nonsense we can do. You know what I'm saying to you? I think we can only try to improve from here. I think we found a way of playing already. So what exactly is it that people think is going to happen that Fletcher is now part of this squad what does he think? He's going to bring the level down somehow? Or he's going to somehow unteach them how to play football? What is it that people think is going to happen? And they say,
I think it's one of them where Man United. Yeah, I think Man United always want to kind of elevate. I think that's the message, Flawless, isn't it? You know what I mean? When you see this kind of, when you see Fletcher, some people just see it as uninspiring. You know what I mean? And what do you make of it, Flawless?
I think people see it as uninspiring because they see the same issue that we already have. I have no issue with ex-players going on the Manchester United coaching stuff and learning. And I agree with what you were saying about Bayern Munich, Ajax. The difference is they have experience there for people to learn from, and it's a conveyor belt. I have if Fletcher was going on the book, if Solskjaer had an experienced coach next to him, say for instance, this would never happen, but I always use Ancelotti as an example. If Ancelotti was his number 2, Solskjaer would do so much better because he'd be learning off him. Carrick, McKenna, and now Fletcher will be learning off him. And then when they become experienced, the ex-players then learn from them, and it's a whole circle of a conveyor belt. The reason why people see it as uninspiring, because like you said, 12 man, does this mean Manchester United have been coaching with one less coach? Were they waiting for Fletcher? Surely that's an easy deal to do. So it's kind of like, why now in January? What is it? Obviously, they've not come out and said why, but it kind of looks like, is it going to help that much? Is it really going to change or alter Manchester United's play? I don't think so. How much of an input is he going to have? So, and I rate Fletcher as well. I think he'll probably be a good coach because he's someone who got the best out of himself without the best skills. So he should be able to pass that on. But again, Fletcher's not being given the best possible platform to succeed. If Fletcher was coming on the coaching staff and had an experienced coach to learn from, then we're going to see a better Fletcher. He's going in there with Ollie, who we know has an experience, Carrick and McKenna are new feelings there. That's it. So I think that's why people see it as uninspiring. I'm not really too fussed about it because I don't see it making that much of a difference personally.
I think it can only be a bonus. I can't see where the negative can come out of this. You know what I'm saying? He can only add something else. How do we know he's not got that last little season?
But they have got someone. The thing is, could they not have got someone? I don't mind Fletcher, but if they're going to add to the coaching staff, clearly we can see experience is lacking. I'm going to say this again. Add someone who's experienced, like 12 man added it with his analogy. If you got someone from Sevilla who, for instance, was let's get some experience. Clearly that coaching staff needs experience. The same way Maguire needs pace next to him, our coaching staff needs experience, and we refuse to go and get it.
And that's my point. I think the experience for me, and Aaron, I think you tweeted
Boris out, no doubt. Mustafa, no, shout him out, mate. Boris out, always.
Yeah, Boris out, always. I think Aaron, you found it. I think you tweeted out something that I think more your question was why Fletcher? You know what I mean? Why not someone of a better capability of? If your aim is to win the league, is Fletcher going to add something to win the league? That was, I think, was kind of your point. I think today on Twitter. What do you want to say on the kind of Fletcher bit?
My point was, and I had a little discussion with the boys in the group chat earlier with the terrace and that. I'm not 100% against the appointment of Fletcher. I want to get that straight. I'm just asking myself, what decisions has Ollie made in the past that he needs Fletcher for now? That's my question, and I just think it's just more because I've read a bit through the article on the website, on United's website, and they said, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, guys, they said that he started coaching the under-16s in October. So I'm like, hold on. So he started coaching the under-16s in October, and we're in January, and he's already been, October 2020. And so I'm like, hold on. So he started coaching the under-16s in October 2020, and by January 2021, he's already been promoted to the first team. that's it's a bit of a weird one to me. So I don't know, and I have to be honest. Like, I might be wrong in the future. We never know. Obviously, so he might come here. He might come in, and then, like JV said, he might turn McTominay into a beast, and he might actually improve him. If that's what happens in the future, then fair play. I'm gonna hold my hands up and say, yo, listen, I was wrong. But I'm just saying, like, this is just, we're already trying to adapt to the inexperience of our coaching staff right now. Adding more inexperience to the inexperience we already have, I think it's a bit too much for me. So I don't know where this comes from. I don't know how this was negotiated, and I've seen we've appointed a new head of physios as well. Some guy from I don't know where he comes from, but apparently he's good because the old one probably been dashed out. So I don't know, man. It's a bit of a strange one to me. I can't lie. Like when I saw it, I wasn't like I'm just saying when I saw it, I wasn't like, wow, this is good. Do you know what I mean? Like I was more like, really? Like was it really needed? That's my question. Is it really needed at this point in time? But like I said, he can come in and make a difference. And in the end, I'm going to hold my hands up and say, listen, it was the right decision. However, on the thing with Bayern Munich, and I'm going to come back to what Norden always says, the reason why ex-players succeed at Bayern Munich is because of their structure and the way the club puts things at their disposal for them to be able to succeed. Let me just take the example, and we spoke about this so Norden's out here, Millie rocking in that. We spoke.
One mention of scripture and moon dancing,
He's doing that dance that went viral yesterday. You know that viral video that went viral where everyone was moving like that? That's
moving weird, bro. Just moving like that, bro. One thing we've spoken about this many times. One thing that Bayern Munich does, like I said, they give you the best possibilities, or they give you all the tools that you need as a manager, as a sporting director, as a future member of board. They make everything available to you for you to succeed. Oliver Kahn is now member of board. That's his official title, but I think he's like a sporting director kind of thing, or CEO, whatever it is. These guys, paid his university fees, and they made him study the job that he's doing now in Austria for about 3-4 years. Yeah. He then came into the job and shadowed Uli Hoeneß for about 3-4 years, another 3-4 years, while he was doing punditry on TV. Then, when Uli Hoeneß retired, no, don't get it twisted, Hoeneß still has a lot of say at Bayern Munich, but when he retired officially, that's when Kahn stepped in and replaced him. So I'm like, they prepared him for this role. My question is, have Manchester United prepared Fletcher for this role? Because to me right now, like I said, he started coaching at under-16s in October, and within 3-4 months, he's in the first team. So I'm like, did you really prepare this guy? So I understand the Bayern Munich thing, but Bayern Munich prepare the ex-players to get into certain positions. They prepare them. Even if you're a manager, the sporting director.
You can't compare the coaching and CEO positions, though. It's not the same thing. That takes preparation. You can't just walk into a CEO job. You can walk into a coaching job. You can get your badges plus your experience of years as a player. Do you know what I mean? That all counts for it. Let's not act like that's nothing. And we don't also know what else he does in the background. We know about his official title at United since October. I don't know what he's been doing since he's retired. Do you know what I mean? So these are the things that are, like I said, I agree with you on, I don't know what the reason is at this stage. But when you say it's strange, I don't necessarily think it is fully in the sense of United have been trying to do a culture reset. There's clear things that are in place. There's clearly a difference in the way we're making signings. Talking about physios, new data analysis, and the way we're scouting younger players and whatever. I mean, all of these type of things that they're talking about, that is a culture reset. This is all part of a way of moving forward, working forward. Now, here's the same thing as, another thing is, people were gassed to say, oh, let's get Rio Ferdinand to be the director of football.
I never.
I wasn't too gassed.
People did, though.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And them same people, by the way, that did that, a lot of them would be the same ones here right now questioning why Fletcher's becoming just a coach. Just a coach, just another coach in this team. Not the main coach, not the first team coach, not the head coach, not anything else, just a coach. But yet, they are comfortable with Patrice Evra to just walk in and be assistant manager. Rio Ferdinand to just be director of football because the man pundit a little bit here and there. Evra can't even hold his mouth properly in punditry. I can't even keep on
Read's secrets.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So, like, but yeah, because they're flashing names, and players that they admired in the way that they played, they automatically they would be great at this job.
Yeah.
People confuse ability on the pitch with ability in your brain, bro. Like, think about the greatest coaches around. Like, were they the best players? They weren't. Like, which one of these great coaches which one of these great managers was it that was the great player? Zizou. Name another.
Yeah, apart from Zizou, I don't see anyone else.
Last one before that would be Cruyff.
He's a crap manager. Do you know what I mean?
Facts,
There's so many. How many of them are go on?
Guardiola, maybe.
You are great players.
Guardiola.
No, Guardiola was a decent player.
Guardiola was box standard Guardiola.
He was a box standard
No,
player.
he wasn't. He was a good player.
Okay.
He wasn't special, but either way, the point is,
I watched him live. He was a
I watched him, bro. You weren't Xavi. You weren't yes, no, not here.
Hold on. Xavi took years to catch up to Guardiola's level. Let's not forget, Xavi took time to settle at Barcelona. You know, he came through the ranks. He messed up. He didn't get comfortable.
Luis Enrique was better. Check that.
No. Before McAllister, totally different positions. Before
and I disagree anyway.
In front of the midfield and keeping the ball ticking and passing, he was well underrated because football was not as it was now. Football.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Pep Guardiola's essential. Watching him, he kept that midfield ticking, man. I remember watching him at Old Trafford 2-2 United in the Champions League, and he scored a fantastic goal, made a late run in the box, and scored. It's the one that Lee Sharp scores in the game where Lee Sharp runs to the corner flag. That's the Elvis. Is that game? I just want to have my 2 pence.
Yeah, go on.
Outrage FC, mate. The fan base. I always come out and blame the club. For some of the fan base, some of the things I've seen on Twitter, I think somebody like Aaron, who's got constructive opinion about...
You can see where it's coming from, Aaron.
Yeah. I totally understand that. So there's a difference. There's outrage fan base FC, who are just outraged. Like, oh, no, what the hell is going on here? Right? Them. And then there's constructive stuff to think, you know what? I always said to these boys, I rate McKenna, feeling I don't rate. I know I hear news about Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick sometimes coaches on the 15s or the 14-year-olds at United, and he does some good stuff. Apparently, he does some good stuff, right? But that's underage football. To me, what you do underage football, how you coach, is not. If you coverage in the youth team, that's the 19-year-olds, the 20-year-olds, the 18-year-olds who are competing for, you know what I mean, like on the 23s who are competing heavily. Then that's how I always rate Jody Morris. Why do I rate Jody Morris? Because I've seen that Chelsea team, youth team, on the 23 slap up everybody, mate. I'm talking about by far and apart
ridiculous
the best footballing team, youth team I've seen in a long, long while. Why? Because the evidence don't lie. You see the way they play. You see how he makes changes in these youth games. Darren Fletcher for me, I never rate Mick Phelan. Carrick, I don't know too much about. Kieran McKenna, I do rate. So Kieran McKenna, it was a guy in the United's on the 18th and on the 19th. He did a good job. You could see what United were, how they were playing, right? Now, I always talked about, I said it with Saeed actually, it's almost kind of, it's weird. We had a premonition that something was going to happen, and we talked about it, and I talked to Saeed about it. And I've always talked to everyone. I always said, for Oli to stay, United have to go and get, and I agree with Flawless 100%, Man United have to go and get a sick number 2, well-renowned number 2, very experienced in the big games. You know, the kind of coaches that will make a massive difference in the big games. You know, like someone like Brian Kidd, Fergie. You know Fergie? Fergie never had one guy, you know, for 2 years or 3 years. I think the guy, Brian Kidd is a Mancunian. Brian Kidd, right? Most of you don't know. Brian Kidd played in 1968 final and scored. Most people don't know. Most United fans don't know that. Brian Kidd, who's now the Man City number 2 at Manchester United, was a baller. You know what I'm talking about? A baller of a player. Brian Kidd was a sick, deadly winger, right? He scored in the Champions League final in 1968 against Benfica. He's been there. He's been associated with football in Manchester for a very, very long time, right? Fergie had Brian Kidd till we started winning leagues. All of a sudden, people are like, oh, Brian Kidd, Fergie changed. Fergie always changed number 2. Me and JV talked about that. I think on Pi Radio, we talked about that. We said what Fergie was good at.
Pi Radio.
Yeah, shout out Pi Radio. For me, I'm like, I wanted a sick guy, the guy that people don't know about. You don't have to know about them, but a guy who is about, like, who's about the tactics and in the big games, in the big crucial calls, who to take off, who to put on. You know, what shape are we going to play? Like, I rate, people might think, you know, as a manager, he's horrendous, but as a number 2, he made United hard to beat. That's Carlos Queiroz. I rated I rated Steve McLaren. I know that people call him the Broly with the Wally and all that business, but as a coach, you know what I mean?
He was a Broly in the Wally, though.
You know, Man United don't win a treble without some of the philosophy and some of the coaching techniques that Steve McLaren had. Because Steve McLaren was ahead of his time. He was going over to America and understanding how they did sports psychology in American football. He was stealing ideas from different sports in different countries around the world. So that's who he was, bringing knowledge back to Man United. So for me, and now come to Darren Fletcher. Now, Darren Fletcher, for me, when he started playing for Man United, I was like, what the hell? Like, they sold Beckham and put Darren Fletcher on the wing. And 12 man, you know what? We talked about that. It was like, what the hell? He was getting booed. I was going to Old Trafford, and I hear boos every time Darren Fletcher got on the ball. Darren Fletcher won the United fans so much because that's not his position. His position wasn't a right winger, but Fergie just put him there because Fergie was like testing the character of young players. Out of position, prove it. Even when you're getting boots on, can you still give it, right?
Yeah.
Darren Fletcher got 3% of midfield. Oh my days. In the biggest games of the season, whether it's Champions League or a league type, you know, a 6-pointer against Arsenal, or, you know, going to Anfield. Darren Fletcher, first name on the team sheet, because absolute warrior, heart, never giving, literally will smash man all day, every day. And actually, he was a lot cleverer than Keane, because Keane will make it 2 on top and smash them. Darren Fletcher was clever. He'll smash you. He'll pick you up and smile at the referee. He will never be too aggressive. He had these kind of ways of doing it where a man went booking him or giving him a red card. You don't see Darren Fletcher getting too many red cards, right?
Yeah,
so, Darren Fletcher, like he said, he had the illness. He had the serious illness. He didn't play for years. He did his coaching badges. Darren Fletcher was a guy Man United were considering, 12 man, I'll come back to this, where United were considering to be the sporting director, football director. And I was like, well, what? What is he does? What does he know? So I'm glad he's not a technical director. He's not the sporting director. He's actually a coach, right? Because I think then you get promoted to be the technical director. You know what I mean? In terms of the youth. And he was coming in to do the youth football. Now, Darren Fletcher has been associated with Man United ever since. Darren Fletcher is one of those guys that he's got, regardless what manager's been there.
Is he what we need, though, Noreen? Is he what we need?
No. Listen, to me, I want to be hopeful because I don't want to shout and scream, man. You have to give people a chance first to see what they do, right? So, can Darren Fletcher bring about 5%? And I'm talking about an elite level spot, right? 5% into Fred, McTominay, and Pogba in midfield, right? Is he going to give them a 5% of knowledge or know-how in big games in terms of way preparing, in terms of like going to the analysis room and stopping the video and going, here, there, at this moment, you do this, you do that. Because that's what he did. And until this day, I tell man all day, every day. That if Darren Fletcher was fit, I think it was 2007. Was it 2007, 2008? Champions League. Yeah, in a Champions League. So, you know what? He got a red card. It wasn't a red card. Fabregas, Arsenal away.
Yeah. If VAR needed to exist,
trust me, bro.
If he was fit in that game, in that final, Man United win that game. I'm doubting you now because Man United, Fergie then thought, I don't have Darren Fletcher, messed around with the formation, played Ronaldo up front somehow, and then Messi, that's a man's like 1 foot started jumping over man.
I don't think he would have. I think
for me,
maybe
the would have had a massive say. That's how much I rate him. So if he can improve those players, I'm all for it. Because at the end of the day, boys, we need every help we can get. Like I said, I don't rate feeling, and Carrick doesn't give me anything to rate him by. But do I rate the position that and the caliber of temperament and the man that he was, and the man that he's left Man United and was doing football and tried to prolong his career over a long time? I respect him because he could have stayed at Man United, but he went to Stoke and different places to go and try to play football still after he recovered from illness. So I rate Darren Fletcher as a human being, the man, and as a footballer. When he got put inside from the right wing to inside, he was phenomenal. He was the best defensive battling, competitive midfielder, better than anyone in Europe. And I know that people were afraid to say it because he was Scottish. And when you're Scottish, you can't say it, can you?
That's my point. And that's my point. And you know what, man? Fair play to Noreen there. Perfect summarize. You know what I mean? What for you, Musa, is why the fan base is it a case of we want success you know what I mean, soon, and we're looking for kind of success coming from elite coaches. You know what I mean? I think Fletcher, I understand he's gonna learn his trade, and to learn your trade, you need experience. But can you understand the feeling of people who want success and they see the title winning and they're thinking, Darren Fletcher, you know what I mean? Okay, fair enough. But to help Ollie, it's all about helping Ollie now, isn't it? You know what I mean? Getting him the extra boost, say, you know what, these decisions need to be making. You know what I mean? What's the kind of view on Darren Fletcher becoming part of the coaching staff?
I think with the fan base that's kind of upset with Darren Fletcher, I think a lot of them are also the same fan base who they're not really having Ollie. So how are they going to have Darren Fletcher? They're not really having Ollie in the hot seat, let alone Man United continually going down this route of bringing in like the ex-players and, you know, making them a part of the coaching staff. I don't per se think it's an issue with Darren Fletcher per se himself. I just feel like the direction that Man United is going in with adding a Darren Fletcher tells those fans who want to replace Ollie that they're not replacing Ollie anytime soon, because they're showing this type of, you know, support for Ollie in terms of giving him the type of people that he wants around him. If you're trying to get rid of Ollie, you don't then bring in people like Darren Fletcher, who, if you get rid of Ollie in the next 6-7 months, the whole lot of them are disappearing. Do you know what I mean? Someone else comes in and he wants a whole different coaching staff with him. So this, for me, is an intent from the club. We're backing Ollie. We're not only backing him, we're showing you we're going to bring in the people around him that he thinks, you know, are going to get him to where he's going to get to. Because for me personally, if I had an option between Darren Fletcher and Michael Carrick, from what I know of them as footballers and what they brought to the Man United team, I just feel like what Carrick possesses, if you buy a player in that position who has that skill, an Alonso or someone who has that, you know, ability of football, you don't teach it to them. That's what they've got. I just feel like what Carrick has as a player, trying to teach that to somebody, Carrick can't make McTominay start playing like it. He can't do it. It's either you can ball or you can't ball. Like, you know, he's not just going to make McTominay next minute start spreading yard balls and, you know what I'm saying, and playing a certain way. What Darren Fletcher possesses as a player in terms of, and he could ball. For me, Darren Fletcher could ball. You know what I'm saying? And he knew how to get the best of that out of his ability. But what you lot touched on a couple earlier on is that he was able to get the best out of himself as a footballer and what he was able to do. And I feel like if he's able to do that, like Noradine said, with other players, then it could bring something to the table. But for me, if I had an option between Dan Fletcher and Carrick, I would have went, because for me, Carrick has been there before Ollie. Like, what's Carrick been doing? What has he actually done at United for me? True. He's been here for a minute. You know what I'm trying to say? So, and he's been there, and I don't see how he's influenced the team in terms of our style of play or what we're doing. And sometimes I see when it's peak on the pitch and Ollie looks to him, I don't see nothing going on there. So for me, you know, the jury's still out with Carrick. So I'm not going to be like, raw, why are we getting Fletcher when we got man like Carrick? Because for me, Carrick, I'm a bit like Noradine. I don't really see what he does. But I think Fletcher coming onto the coaching staff, again, the only worrying point for me is whether it's worrying or not. It's just, for me, it's showing the intent of the club that they're backing Ollie and Ollie's their man. And they're going to bring around the people that Ollie wants to be around him in terms of to get the best out of the players and to get the best out of the team. But I don't think we should be worried. Like someone said, he's not coming in to be the second, you know what I mean, assistant manager or anything like that. He's just coming in to add to what's already going on at the coaching ground. You know
the more you look at it like that, the more it sounds better.
So, Saeed, can I just say this? Actually, United have not confirmed like what it is. So it could be like
I know.
Coach.
True, yeah.
The photos, they've not. I try to research this. The club have not actually officially said exactly what role Darren is going to take. Like, so because you see them in the first team, or they might be moving with the first team, that don't mean that they've got other roles in the club. So we're just going to have to wait. So
and that's, I think,
all of this could be for nothing.
I know it could be, and that's how the fan base has been for the last 7 years. We've been, you know, kind of reactionary FC, you know what I mean, in terms of we're just always like, you know, the club have not brought in good news. We've not brought in titles for the last 7 years. And I feel like for me, you know what I mean, like I'm not even bothered by this guy. I'm just like, you know what? Let him come in, you know what I mean? If you
he's not gonna make that big of it. It's not all of a sudden, Fletcher's gonna come in and Manchester United's style of play is going to change. Like, we're just gonna see us going long or we're going to start playing Barcelona-esque football. And let's just see what happens. Nobody touched on it. We do have not a large chunk, but a lot of our fan base, especially on social media, just want to be outraged by anything. And this is not one of them. This is not, if he was coming in, like 12-man Talks has said, as the number 2, or he was coming in as the DOF, or my man was taking Ed Woodward's job, then it would be different. You know what I'm saying in that? But he's just coming in as a coach. Let's give him.
And that's a key flawless, isn't it? Separate the facts, in it. Separate the two. And that's the thing, man.
Am I ecstatic about it? No. But am I mad about it? No. I'm reserving judgment on it. Let's see what. Let's give him a key.
And I feel like that's the best way to kind of end it on that bit. You know what I mean? Reserve your judgment and see where we go.
One thing quickly with that though, just to touch on what Musa said, and what Nuruddin said. Could this not potentially be maybe Michael Carrick might be stepping down at the end of the season and they're just getting Fletcher warmed up right now? Maybe Carrick himself is thinking, maybe I need to go away and do something. Maybe it was not for me. Maybe it's that as well. It could be that he's coming in to be a long-term replacement for someone as well.
I feeling might be going back to Australia teaching online.
Exactly. Right. It's right. As funny as it sounds, Norridin's right. He's still got something contracted over there. What his agreement with
I think that's been ended though. But either way, there's a possibility that this is a reshuffle, bro. Like you're talking about a new physio, like I said, the new data analysis team with the regards to the transfer recruits. They're talking about a director of football, but not as a director of football in a whole different type of role. There's a whole bunch of different things. So you never know, bro. You never know. He could be the first replacement.
If we're bringing in new physios and that, if you really think about it,
sorry to put you up. That's a good thing. I like the fact we're bringing in new physio. Yeah, that's a plus point.
But here's the thing: if we're bringing in new physio, and then you look at Fletcher as a player. One sec, if you look at Fletcher as a player coming in alongside new physios, for me, this screams out fitness. Fletcher's one of the fittest players we had. Fletcher could run up and down all day. Between him and Park Ji-sung, the man could run the whole length of Manchester, bro, in 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Carry on running. He came back for 3 years to run. You know what I'm saying? He should never have been in the team in the first place. Had he done a Jordan Henderson, like he's basically done what Jordan Henderson, except he just didn't make it to captain of Man United on a regular. But the guy that team proved everybody wrong to the point where you love him. You know what I mean? You appreciate how good he is. And for any of the, literally, I was having this Jordan Henderson argument this morning and yesterday, bro. Like, for anyone who wants to judge how good these players are, watch your team without them. Then you understand. Because there's not someone that can't see it when they're watching them play. But people like Fletcher and Henderson, they're the type of guys, when they're not playing, is when you see how much of a difference they are to their team. Do you know what I mean? And Fletcher was one of those guys for us. So what is it that people think? And he learned from Fergie. He learned from some of these so-called great number 2 coaches. What is it that people think that he's going to not be good at? Why do you think that Zidane can go and take over the Real Madrid job unproven and you just back him straight away and he's the greatest manager after you? No, to be fair, since he's gone on to prove a lot of things. But at the time, people had no problem with that. Man just walked into the Real Madrid manager's hot seat with zero experience. But yeah, you got issue with Fletch coming in. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I'm gonna move over the podcast. I'm gonna discuss about Ollie because I feel like people have been on my case saying, you know what, Saeed, you don't give Ollie credit. Oh, we've got Stroh in the background. Big up Stroh in the building. What are you telling me, Stroh? Are you all good, by the way? Are you feeling better?
Yes, brother. How are you, man?
I'm all right, man. How's everyone?
Yeah, man. We're good, man. We're good, bro. We're good, man. We're just talking about United in a minute and Fletcher and stuff like that. We're just talking about Man United. You know what? I'll start with you, Stroh, first. You know, does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deserve more credit for what he's doing right now in terms of the title race, getting us to where we are right now? Liverpool, obviously, you played tonight, hot on your heels. Does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deserve more credit for you than people are giving? Or
we're not in a title race before you start. We're not in a title race. 25 games, then you've got no title race. I'm not part of this talk. We're in a title race talk. I'm not. So just remember that, Stroh, before you answer.
We are in a title race right now, though. The evidence, the table suggests it. The table suggests it, Stroh. You know, just Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deserves credit where we are right now.
Listen, Chelsea were on top, and now they're 8th. How does that make sense this season? Until you get to 25, 30 games, nobody's in a title race, man. Chelsea went
Okay, I'll reword it. Okay, does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deserve credit for where he's taken us right now? Or did you see Man United get to that position no matter what when the squad was available? What is your kind of assessment on that?
I said this from the jump early. I predicted United to finish second because I looked at your squad, and me and you have had this discussion. We've had this discussion. Aaron Nuruddin and all the other managers. Your squad is the best squad you've had since Fergie left, realistically. And you look at the players. You've got Martial. I'm a huge fan of. Rashford. I'm a huge fan of. And I think that the only thing that Solskjaer deserves credit because the signings have been really good. Minus Dan James of this world, I think he's made some really good signings. Wan-Bissaka's not really been in great form for the past couple of weeks, but he's still young and people need to remember that. Same with Rashford. For me, I predicted United to finish second. I expected you to finish that way anyway because of the squad that you've got. My issue is Solskjaer's in-game management and what he does when games are crucial. So, for example, the PSG game, I always go back to it because the sending off, he can prevent that. You only needed a point. I don't think you lose that game if you've got 11 men on the field. I think you go on and nick the equaliser, and then you're through to the Champions League, and that's my issue with him. So, at the moment, yes, you are in the title race, and things are so tight with regards to it. But the problem is, and here's the problem with Saeed, is I look at Solskjaer, I don't see him sustaining it, and that I go back to Manchester United, and I say this time after time, I hold United to the highest standards. I'm a Liverpool fan that grew up in Manchester at the time when Fergie United dominated. I hold you to a high standard. You need a better manager, regardless if he's doing a good job or not. I'm talking Manchester United. I'm talking the elite of the elite, the biggest club in the world. You need to the problem in the world. And I look at United now, and I just don't see you sustaining a full title race at the end of the season because at some point, Solskjaer is going to cause issues.
Big up Pie Radio.
Big up Pie Radio. They're out. The problem we have with Solskjaer in terms of everyone underestimating him, including us, some of the United fans, is that when we look at the calendar year 2020 and the amount of points Solskjaer as manager has accumulated against all the other teams and all the other managers or everyone else that people are saying that he can't do better than, then we don't really have an argument. You know what I'm saying? When Solskjaer's able to, because all Solskjaer has to do is replicate what he's done in the last 6 months or the previous 6 months to that for him to be in a title race. That's all he's got to do. He's got to replicate what he's already done in the last in the last calendar year 2020. Because for him to have been, so it's tight between us and Liverpool because depending on sometimes who wins the game, Liverpool's picked up more points, then Man United's picked up more points in the calendar year 2020. But the fact that it's between those two clubs and there's only 1 or 2 points in between who's picked up the most in that calendar year shows you that Oli can replicate that because he's done it over 12 months. As much as we want to say this and say that about him, all he needs to do is continue to do that until the end of this season, replicate what he's already done over a year, and he's in a title race. As much as I've got issues with some of the things that he does and some of the teams that he picks and some of the decisions that he makes, but the facts are there that he's accumulated the most points with Liverpool, in the year 2020. So what gives us the right to judge him? If he showed us over a year that he's capable of doing that, so what are we judging him on? When we say that we don't think he can do it, or we don't, but he's just like, okay, let's look at 2020 and let's see what I've picked up.
Is that the barometer now for United? Looking at how we're stable right now and not looking
because since he's got the players that he wants, since Bruno came in and he got that player that he wanted to support Pogba, he's gone on a run of picking up a load of points. And the only person that's come close what's that?
Liverpool. No, I was going to say, can I make a point as a Liverpool fan looking in? Context is key, right? So, when we talk about judging players, we talk about eye tests and we talk about stats. Stats is all well and good, but context is key, right? So, look at us, for example. So, we're the only one that have got more points than Manchester United in the 2020 season, or as a calendar year,
calendar year, yeah.
Yeah, so when you look at Manchester United, you think, wow, but then you look at us, for example, there's only 1 or 2 points in it. Why is there only 1 or 2 points in it? Our heads went, the second we won the title, our heads went. Now, I'm not saying that's good enough from a Liverpool point of view because I was pissed off and I wanted us to win these games. We went to Manchester City and you could tell that we were partying. You could tell that we weren't the same team that we were. Same as Chelsea at home. Same at Brighton away. And then you look at this season, for example, we've had the most injuries in the Premier League. This isn't an excuse because every team's going to get injuries, but it took us to drop a level for you to come and get close. Do you know what I mean? So for me,
that's what they said about Man City.
For me, you should be doing that with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You could do that with a better manager.
I'm with you, but I think that's what they said about Man City when Liverpool were clawing up the points. Like, Man City's not at the races. They're not this. For me, it's just football. It happens, innit? Things happen. You win games, you lose games, you get injuries. Sometimes one of your key players that has been saving you a load of points, he goes injured, he goes missing. So with the season ahead and what can happen in football, for me, out of every other manager in the last year, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has proven to be, if there's any other manager who can step up and take the title off Liverpool based on what he's done in context, it's him. I'm not saying that we will do it, but Ole's proven that he's second in line to do it. So as much as we want to diss him and say what we want to say about him, but why do we give teams like City, Tottenham, Chelsea, whoever might be, bigger chances of stepping in and taking the trophy away from Liverpool if they do have one of those seasons? And that's including us as Man United fans. Why are we so on Ole when he's proven to us, in the last year that I've done the business? Like other than win the league, I've done what I could have done. And as fans, we could also admit he came in at a point where the team wasn't in the best condition. You know what I'm saying? The team wasn't, how we really wanted it to be, and he's had to buy a couple signings. So for me, it's a difficult one. I'm not saying because I rate Klopp a lot in terms of, what he's achieved and what he's able to do with players who sometimes can look to be Bob standard, and he's able to get them to play to another level in a system that works very well. So I'm not going to say that, it's going to be tea and biscuits, but at the same time, I just feel like I think Ole's not getting enough respect. I don't think we're giving him for one reason or another. I just look like stats don't lie, bro.
Yeah. It's the same word that my man just said.
Why is that? Why is there not enough respect?
It's the same word man just said. Context. Now I've written Nuruddin. No, that's my favorite word in this sport, in anything, bro. Context is key. But you see, one thing, there's certain things about football context is context is fluid as well. Yeah. So when we're talking about form, some things need to be looked at in context. But over a 12-month span, it doesn't really matter. Like you could say things happen. We usually talk about injuries, like you said, a level off from winning something or just losing your heads for something reason, whatever it is, that happens. So if you look at every 12-month period previous, don't look at it like calendar year to calendar January to December type thing. I'm sure you'll find those kind of patterns regardless. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like it's not going to happen this season because that's not going to happen again like last season. Well, then for that to not happen again like last season, which means that Liverpool wouldn't be as strong this year. So you wouldn't be able to coast. You see what I'm saying to you? So the context changes anyway. But Man United in that same time have picked up a stupid amount of points. It's not just that we're the second most points or in and around. It's a lot of points. Do you know what I mean? So the context is always unfair for Ole because everything he does comes with a but. That's the one thing that I've stopped doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could sit here and talk about Klopp has definitely got a much better style of play. But when we say that he's way more likely to win a league, I don't know if that's true. You don't necessarily need to be the greatest coach. Wenger was clearly a better technical coach than Alex Ferguson was. It didn't stop Alex Ferguson from slapping him in his face regular. Do you know what I mean?
But is that the difference, though? Is that the difference to win a title, though? Klopp and Ole, to win the title?
No. I think style of play helps you have sustainability and continuity. Do you know what I'm saying to you? 100%.
That's what
and I think it gets you out of when you've mastered it, I think you're very strong for a period. You know what I mean? But you're always going to have to try and find ways to adapt it. But the way we're doing right now, it might not be my preferred coaching method as such, but I'm really starting to see the advantages of what our squad does. The variety we have in our squad is what allows us to flip things up so much. And when you instill a winning mentality and a never giving a mentality, which is what he's kind of done already, then you throw in a bit of quality, which is what he's added to the squad. Then you can kind of afford to be a bit more vibes FC because you can kind of freestyle a bit more because then it keeps other teams guessing. Do you know what I mean? Now, that's always only ever dependent on how good that squad is for that season. So that's the difference. When you have a coaching style like Liverpool, it's sustainable for a spell, for a long period of time. I mean, even though, like Man City, eventually teams will find a way to combat your style. But if you can always freshen it with a good player here and there, whereas United, with our way, it will always depend on how good that squad is that season and how much form they're in that time and whatever. Do you know what I mean? But right now, it's looking like things are going in our favor. We've kind of avoided the major injuries so far for the first time in these 7 years. Up until this point, we haven't had one season where we haven't had major injuries up until this point. We've got a good bunch of players on the bench as well as our starting lineup. We're clearly starting to find some form and we're finding ways to score goals. We're getting better defensively. there are things that are improving that we can't.
And like you said, and we've added players to the squad who have actually won titles.
Yes,
yes, players who know how to win titles, whether it's in this league or not. We've added players to the squad who knows who've won titles before and know what it takes. In Bruno, in Cavani, and I think that's important.
And all of them are champions.
Lauren, you say your piece.
You know what I would say? Sorry, I'll make it short. So I don't like adding a year counting the football season. We all know what a football season is. Football season is from August usually till May, right? So I don't like adding 2 things to make the figures. You know what I mean? You could use whatever you want, like whatever stats to make your argument. Now, context is important. Context is the most important thing. So if we were to go along, I agree what Lot said, what Reefert said, what 12 Man said, and I'm sure Aaron would say the same. And I agree in the whole that do I want Jose Mourinho at Man United? No. Is Oli 10 times better than Jose Mourinho football style? Do I actually love watching the team now? Even though I don't know where we're going to be 3-0 down, 2-0 down, where we're going to be, where we're going to be sweating like it's a cup final against Villa of all teams. We're sweating like literally it's freezing and I'm sweating everywhere because I'm like, we're going to concede. But I want to put this in a much context. In those wins that Liverpool had before they went, because after 30 years, the relief. And I always remember what Rio Ferdinand says. I just read this one out, man. Read this one out.
Sure, thanks for the super chat. He says, Ollie deserves credit. I like the way you guys, I like watching you guys, but Saeed, you're up and down with your comment. The team wins and you'd rather give credit to the players and not money. No, I don't know if you've watched my match.
No. Facts.
No, hold on.
Let me finish my point.
Yeah, go on, and I'll speak on after that.
I can't say belly visual, 100%, all right.
Oh, snap,
that's not right. It's not right. But go on.
No, you know what? I just want to preface my thing and ask a question to Stroh because Stroh is the only man who's not emotionally involved, right? All of us have emotional investment. When we have emotional investment, right, we all get clouded by things, you know what I mean? But if somebody is quite, like, from looking from the outside as another supporter of Liverpool of all teams, I want to ask him a question. But all I'm saying is that Oli has tried to do a cultural reboot. Oli has tried to play. Oli is being back to a certain extent. The biggest thing I always think, so Stroh, you talked about, so I don't like to put the 2 things. Liverpool won the league after 30 years, big pressure. Rio Ferdinand always says, winning Champions League and winning the league, it was a relief. It wasn't an enjoyment. I can look back on it and think, enjoy it now when I look back. But at the time, it was relief. So I understand the Liverpool players' mindset, the relief, just getting there after battling with City, right? And then afterwards, you were partying. Everybody could see. And if they weren't partying, then they're not human beings. They're from another flipping planet. Because the most human thing to do is to ease and relax and not be giving it as much as you were giving it when you were before you won. But I can always say, when you talk about your injuries, I can say the reason why we got Bruno is because Pogba out, Rashford out, McTominay out. I remember me, Aaron, and Saeed, right, in the stadium going, McTominay, what are we gonna do? This is McTominay we're talking about. This is how desperate we were. This is how desperate we were.
What are you saying, Aaron?
Right? No, I was saying when he got off the field on a stretcher.
We were all in tears. I was emotional, man. I was like, oh my God, how are we gonna face this team without him? So in terms of injuries, we were down to the bare bones. And I go with 12 man again. This is the only season, and every United fan there, touch wood. I need you to touch wood 3 times because I'm superstitious like that. Because I just don't want any injuries because I want to see what this club, what this group of players can do and achieve. But I want to ask you, bro, if you're saying that Ollie's not the guy, yes, I agree. Maybe in the long term, Ollie might not be the guy to get us back. Like you said, you hold Man United in the highest team.
Yeah.
But it's Ollie the guy now. It's the Ollie the guy now, right? Yeah. Now, I want to ask you, and in compared
to the no other person though. There is no other one.
Yeah.
There is no other manager.
So, compared to the way we played with Van Gaal and Moyes and whoever else, and Mourinho, Jose, the guy who depressed me the most, right? What do you see to that? To me, Ollie looks like the guy he's for now. Like, if Man United want to compete Champions League and compete for league titles, because that's the only 2 cups I count in my head. That's what I want Man United to do, battle for those 2 trophies. Then Man United would have to get proper structure around Ollie if they think Ollie can do it. and all of it will be the proof in the pudding. Get a proper structure around him. Get a footballing director around him. If not, we're never gonna know. But I want to ask the question: has Ollie got us back?
So there's similarities from Liverpool from the 2013 onwards to Manchester United now. From a Liverpool point of view, is when we hired Brendan Rodgers, I knew he was never the man to sustain it 4, 5, 6 years. He was a stopgap to get us playing good football, to kind of, do you know what I mean? That next step, it was to get us back to where we needed to be. For me, it was always about foundations. It was building a foundation and then building on that foundation with another manager that would come in, that would put us in a place where we could then properly challenge for the league, get us back in the Champions League on the odd occasion, because at that point we weren't in the Champions League for 8, 9 years. And I look at Ollie and it was very, very similar for me. And that's what I looked at was, I think he's doing a good job now. But for Manchester United, like I say, I hold United to the highest, and I mean the highest regard, because of what I seen when I was growing up. He's not the man for the next 5, 10 years. And I think most United fans would agree with me on that. And I think he's doing a good job now, building a foundation. Like I said, he's built a good squad. He's had a good transfer window where he's brought in some good players. But it's very, very similar to what we were doing with Rodgers to what Solskjaer's doing now. Because we then waited for the manager to come available that we wanted. The second Klopp came available.
So he's a stopgap then? Is he a stopgap?
Yeah. That's genuinely how I feel.
He's definitely a stopgap. He's definitely a stopgap. But I feel like also when we look at the league and how the league is today, and in terms of the money that's in the Premier League, the managers, that we're finding at places like Tottenham and Everton, and the type of, players that the league's attracting. When I look at Liverpool example, and I think to myself, if they don't win the league this year again, when do they win it again? With everyone else building like Man City, Man United, and all the other clubs and all the money that's in the league. I just feel like the days of winning the league, 2, 3 times in a row, I think they're kind of behind us. I think the best you're going to get in this league now is to win it back to back. And then you're just going to get challenged because people are building and they're building rapidly and they're not taking no for an answer. So again, like I said, when you look at Man City, they're like a serious striker away. They're like Harry Kane or a Haaland away from, because if you look, they're not conceding goals no more. They hardly concede now. They've tightened up that defense. They've went and bought and done what they've done. But now they haven't got the Aguero. They're not doing what they're doing, but they still got the players in the middle of the park that are putting the balls in. So example, if Liverpool don't win this league this season, and Man City go and buy a striker that puts the ball in the back of the net, or Man United go to that next level and get a coach, when do they win it again? And I feel like the league is going in that way where, you got a kind of, and that's why I always say for me, Liverpool should have won it last year when they were a point off, because I believe then they retained it. The year before, and then they retained it. I feel like that was their 2 years, because that calendar year that everyone's saying that we shouldn't look at the calendar year, but when you look at that calendar year that Liverpool only lost the league by 1, they accumulated the most points that year. But it was the previous half of that season, the year before that kind of let them down. But when they've got Van Dijk in and they finished that whole calendar year off, they accumulated the most points, and then they went on the next season to win the league. So for me, it just shows that if you can keep that continuity of, accumulating those points, and you bring it into the next season, and then you go on through, you have a chance of winning the league. But that's why I feel like when I look at Liverpool, I think to myself, had they won that league that season, and then they would have retained it the next year, because I feel like they missed the opportunity. So like I said, this season, if they don't win it, with everyone building and how close everyone is away from each other, with players that they could lose like Mo Salah and all that going abroad and blah, blah, blah. I just feel like when it's just the league, it's just a crazy league where we are. And this is why I feel like this is an opportunity with the games that we're playing back to back. We're having group, cup games, blah, blah, blah. Man United have got a great squad for what's upon us now. This pandemic and the squad that we have is really helping us. And the fact that Ollie is now allowed the squad to get used to being chopped and changed. They're finding formation through this madness that Ollie's created. They're actually finding formation through this. Players are getting used.
That's what man's saying. Is this really all madness? This is a plan, bro. Like, he's clearly not trying to find a specific way. He's even said it. The thing is that he said it himself a million times that he likes the fact that we have variety and different ways of playing. Like I said, I never thought he's the long-term option. I've always said that I think he's the right man for now. Yeah, I think he's a guy, but I didn't want him to stay long enough to become enemy.
What's your plan? What's your plan with him? If you say down this
we don't have a plan because we don't have no say. Like, but the fact is, I'm very much in favor of allowing people space to progress and actually judging them of what they're doing, not what they've done. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, if you see progress, do you know why I think the 12 months and the 6 month periods are important to assess when we're talking about context? Is because football's always evolving. Like, I can't use a whole 12 months anyway. I can only use the last 6, really, because if I'm going to judge you off that and then you've done the work to improve, what am I going to still judge you off what you were messing up on when you've clearly improved it? If we were conceding too many goals before, we're still conceding goals, but now we're not as many. We were scoring not enough goals last season. We're now scoring non-stop. Like, we can't stop scoring. We weren't able to get back into games before. We're able to come back into games. There's so many different things we're doing differently now. Like, we didn't get the right players in before. We're signing better players now. Players that make a difference to the team, make a difference to the bench, make a difference to everywhere. Like, there's players getting injured too much. Not so much this year. Bringing in a new physio. Yeah, it's all connected. You know what I mean? The young players that we're bringing in, the academy work. Like, let's not talk about what Ollie did a year ago, what the club was doing a year ago, when 6 months, the last 6 months has been very different. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've clearly seen, okay, those were the mistakes in the first half. And now we've corrected some of these things. We've improved. How are we still judging it off of all of the previous stuff? You know what I'm saying to you? Well, you got to pay attention to what's also happening. So for me, as much as I don't think Ollie's necessarily the right man.
You know why I was saying that though? Because when we look at December, when we got in Bruno to when we ended the season, and we look at that period and the amount of points that were accumulated, yeah. And then when we look at when we started this season to where we are now, and then again the amount of points that we've accumulated, because had the season started in December and to the end, I think Man United would have won the league, or we would have, or something like that. And then now at this season, we're at second, we're joint top at the. So he's showing you something. Had we gone from December to there, it's a progress. You know what I'm saying? We're progressing. That's what people don't understand.
Let me get Aaron in there. Aaron, what's your say in the whole kind of, improvement of Ollie? You know what I mean? Are you, obviously, I don't know if you're on the kind of vibes, kind of train. What's your overall feeling of Ollie? Are you waiting till the end of the season? Because a lot of people don't understand that, you could be Ollie out, but your energy doesn't have to be right now. You can back the team, you can back, the process right now. And that's me. I've said it from day one, man. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not my manager to take us forward. But the whole notion of wasting my energy on saying Ollie out, Ollie this, Ollie get him out of the football club, it's not going to work. And like 12 man says, we're never ever going to be a voice for the football club, because they run the football club. The Woodward has his own ways. And I feel like for me, I'm just going to wait till the end of the season and then I'll judge it from there. Is that what you're kind of feeling this then?
You know what? On people saying the whole Ollie out, Ollie in thing. I've had a few people message me saying, "Well, Poch is gone now. You're gonna back the manager now." Like, first of all, you're not gonna make me do anything, okay? Second of all, I've accepted the fact that Poch is gone now. Yeah, he's gone to PSG. I wish him all the best. So, as it stands now, we're gonna have to ride the season out with Ollie, and I'm cool with that. I wasn't one of these guys that just wanted Ollie out for the sake of wanting him out.
Exactly. There was a reason behind it.
There was a reason why. I personally wanted him out because I thought that at that moment there was a better manager out there, in my opinion, in Pochettino. Do you know what I mean? So because he's gone now, I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. I wish him all the best at PSG. Let's stick with Ollie. We have to. Do you know what I mean? Because if we sack him now, who's really out there that we can get that's available? One, and that's good. Do you see what I mean? Because all the good managers now, they've got clubs. Do you know what I mean? So everyone that keeps saying back the manager now, back the manager now.
And I think people miss that. I think that's a massive point that you made, is that a lot of the people that wanted Ollie out was because they saw that there was a viable option there.
There you go.
That could step in and do a job. They weren't just saying it for the fact of get him out and there's not a viable option. We just want him out. You see, like when it was Jose, we just wanted him out. We didn't care what option was about.
And where was the fan base there? Where was the fan base then, though?
Yeah, we didn't care about the options. We just wanted him out and gone.
Why now is it a double standard? For me, it's double standard.
No, you know what? You know what? That man put me to sleep. I told you. That man.
How is it double standard, though, Saeed?
How is it double standard?
Because it's double standard. Because last year there was no last year. I think where were we when Jose Mourinho left us in the league? Does anyone know?
I think it was 7th or 10th.
We were
lower than that, man. We were like 17th, 16th, 15th or something. Yeah, something crazy.
No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was. No, I don't think it was.
It was quite early in the season, but we weren't winning games, bruv. We weren't scoring goals. We weren't winning games. It was bad, bro. It was bad.
I understand it was bad. Was there a viable reason to say, all right, okay, sack the manager now, but where was there a plan after that, though?
At that point, you know what? The plan went wrong because they thought they could salvage the season somehow. Yeah, so they didn't plan to sack him. Then exactly what we all thought would happen happened. He should have gone in the summer. Yeah, the minute he spoke how he spoke after Sevilla, he should have gone. Yeah, that was the final straw for me. But
I said that as well.
The final straw was the day he signed his contract with Man United. That's the final straw for me. It was already too late then.
I don't know about that.
No, I was anti-Jose from day one. Everything I wrote in that blog post happened. Over the next 2.5 years, everything I said the day he signed happened. Everything with Pogba, Martial, Rashford, the way we play, the players who alienate, his attitude, his behavior, the media, everything that I said will happen. Because I'm not some genius. He has done this everywhere he's gone. It's the same thing.
Jose sat on Sky Sports. He sat on Sky Sports.
By any means, he had to go, bro. By any means,
he sat on Sky Sports, yeah. Listen, he sat on Sky Sports and said he wanted to buy Dele Alli. Look where the brother is now. He's taking the step. He sat on Sky Sports.
He wanted to buy Eric Dyer for centre midfield, but he can't play centre midfield for him at Tottenham. He plays centre back.
To finish my point, yeah, like I just wanted to put it out there that we weren't saying Ollie out just for the sake of saying it or saying because we love saying. Do you know what I mean? Because now every time we win, instead of actually enjoying the win, people are atting me inside. Do you see what I mean? That's the first thing they do, or they're atting Rents. Like we accept the fact that yes, Ollie's here now. Let's stick with him till the end of the season. However, it is time for him to deliver. It is time for him to deliver because he's improved the squad to a certain extent. There are still a lot of things that he needs to improve on, in my opinion. But I think along the season and with the squad that we have, the players that we have, we don't have any major injuries. Everyone seems to be fit. Everyone seems to be happy. And everyone seems to be playing well. I think we can end on a positive note with Ollie. So I can accept that. Do you see what I mean? I'm not looking at the game and thinking, oh my God, Ollie's in charge. And people think it's really bothering me. It's not. I accept that.
Aaron, but you know what? I don't know where this come from, bro. That you part of like the anti-out, like you the anti-Ollie out, like Ollie out brigade. I don't know where that comes from.
It's social media. It's social media. They automatically.
Social media.
Listen, we've always had a productive, a rational conversation. We've always said, you know what, this is what he has to do. And I spoke to you, and remember you asking me about nearly a year ago, you asked me, how do you think we should give him? And I was like, you know what, after 2 years, you should have an idea where
you said that from the beginning. You said when Ollie got appointed, Nudin was one of the first who said, I'll give this guy 18 months, then I can judge him properly.
Yeah.
You've always said that. So even at the start when we were not doing well, Nudin was like, listen, guys, I said 18 months, let's wait for 18 months. And so far, it seems like it's all right. Do you see what I mean? It's all right. So let's see at the end of the season where we get to. We're still in the Europa League, even though I think we should allow it really, because that's going to mess up our rhythm with the Thursday Sunday thing. The Thursday Sunday thing is going to be tough, man, on our squad. I feel like even though technically speaking we could play 2 11s every week, we could play one in the Europa League and one in the Prem. Like we can't get away with
not playing players. We can't, and when you lose, it sets up a whole different reaction from a fan base, or
that's
you get knocked. So and plus, furthermore, players when they're winning, bro, they want to keep playing, bro.
Like, there you go.
99.
He's making 9 changes though. We went to Everton and he made 9 changes. So I'm saying
so as far as the Europa League is concerned, for me, I'm saying
that's it for me.
That's it, but if you really want to go for it, then you have to play it smart. Do you know what I mean? You have to play it smart. You have to look at the fixtures that you have on the weekend. Okay, if you're playing a strong team on the weekend, play I'm not going to say a weaker team, but like a modified team in the Europa League, if you get what I mean. So it's up to Ollie now. He's still in a European competition after all. Do you know what I mean? Even though we crashed out of the Champions League, I'm saying, Europa League, let's go as far as possible. I'm not going to set no targets. I'm not going to say we have to win it. I'm not going to say we're going to be favourites. But to answer Saeed's question, I feel like he has improved on a lot of things. Like I said, the rotations is nearly perfect. Everyone seems to be happy. Even the players that are not playing seem to be happy. Players are scoring goals. Even the players that weren't scoring goals at the start of the season that people were doubting, Greenwood, Martial, they're starting to get back to. And I've always said, from the start, Greenwood and Martial, I'm not worried about these guys because them two guys, once they hit form, they will be unstoppable. Trust me. So everyone that was slating Martial at the start of the season, watch him now. Because this guy is slowly getting back to his level. Everyone's going through that. If you're a striker, if you played football before, you know that there will always be a period, where, I agree with that comment. You can dislike Oli and not be disrespectful. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. You know the funny thing, Aaron? You know the funniest thing? People think that I'm like staunch Oli in guy. I've always said, give credit where credit is due and criticize when you think things. And I've done that. I've consistently done that. So it's funny. I've got the Oli in crowd have a go at me when I criticize Oli. And I've got the Oli out crowd have a go at me when I criticize Oli.
But then I've always said, people that do that, I'm sorry, but that tells me a lot about yourself in your own life. If you're just going through life sugarcoating everything, when it's time to criticize, you don't criticize. When it's time to praise,
Aaron, you know my
it
point
tells me a lot
Aaron.
about you in your life.
Don't BS now. Don't bring any BS to this.
No. What I'm trying to say to you.
When Oli does bits, you don't come out and go, Oli has done bits today. Is the
Have you watched the fan cam?
You with your agenda, you come out and go, Vibes FC, Freestyle FC. No. Get out of me. It's the players in it.
I hate that word, you know. I absolutely hate that word, agenda, bro.
Get on there and do what they do.
You know what you said for me, Hold on.
You get more credibility from me, my son.
Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point, and then you can go. But I think he has improved on a lot of things. There are still a lot of things he needs to improve on as well. I still think there are certain decisions that he makes during the game that either cost us games or, it makes a decision that goes wrong. I'm still very bitter about the fact that we crashed out of the Champions League the way we did, man. It shouldn't have happened that way, bro. Like, bro? Against PSG, all you had to do was take off Fred. Literally, you sit in the dressing room, you put an arm around him and you say, "Listen, bro, you're gonna have to take one for the team today because you're literally on a half of a lifeline."
Istanbul, man. Yeah, Istanbul.
Istanbul as well.
It should have been done there. No, it's that.
The PSG is the PSG game as well. Yeah, we could have won that game if we had 11 men. We could have won that game.
No, but you see, we went into that game needing something. That would never happen if we went into. We would have beaten PSG the second time.
You know why, bro? You know why? That's when sometimes I question the teams and the manager's mentality as well. Because say what you want, but certain part of the fan base, the mentality of the team and the manager transcends to the fans. A lot of fans were saying, all we need, especially when we played, when we had to play that last game against Leipzig. Nah, relax, Aaron. Be calm. All we need to do, this is what they said. All we need to do is go to Leipzig and get a point. Like it's a guarantee to go to Leipzig and get a point. Like it's a guarantee.
I don't know how you do
the way the game rolled out, Aaron. The way the game rolled out.
Can I just say something?
The way the game rolled out, if we had 3-4 minutes, I think United would have scored the game. So
but that's the thing. That's how crazy it was.
You know what it is for me? We'll just start this. Belay Visual says, Aaron, you sent Oli out because United was 17.
And you know why? Because in my whole lifetime, I've never seen Manchester United be 17. That's not wrong.
Let me say something.
How can that be positive?
I have. You know what it's for me? I feel like a lot of people don't realize when I give Oli credit. I've said it so many times on the podcast. I've said it on my match reactions. They're very clear, but people just mute the words. I'm telling you, and you know what it is, I've said it from day one. When I was a staunch Oli out, I've never ever came to a propaganda where I said to everyone, think the way I think. I never ever did that. But what I've seen with the guys who are Oli in, and everyone should be Oli in if you look at it really, if you want to win trophies. Everyone who was Oli in now, when every time Man United win is, yo, listen, guys, why didn't you back the process from the start? Why didn't you? Because at that point, when it was so dark and we were out of the Champions League and we were 17th and all that and this and that, and we couldn't see anything,
This is what I said.
This is the reason why I was Oli out. For me, I always look at Man United, I always look at how can a manager win us trophies? And I looked at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and I already made my decision up from about a year ago that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wasn't the right man to win a trophy.
This is what I said about you and me, Like, our criticism of Oli has been consistent. A lot of people have been praising Oli when we were doing well. When we were 15th, all of a sudden it was quiet. Now that we're doing well again, they come out of their hole and say, we knew this was going to happen. No, you didn't.
No, it wasn't. No, they
don't.
Did
That's me. My thing is with Oli as well. The thing is with Oli.
What's that? Sorry?
For me, the thing is for me with Ollie, the only true I'd say Ollie in are the fans who believe that Ollie is the man to take United back to the top and win trophies. I feel like that's the true Ollie in.
Yeah,
because that's what I mean with a manager. When I say I'm behind this man, I'm behind the manager, I'm behind the club. But when I go for a manager and I say this is who I'm betting my cards on, that's because I believe he's the full ticket. He's not halfway, he's the full ticket. He takes us to the top and he wins us trophies. And a lot of people thought that with Jose Mourinho. So that's why they backed him. The thing is with those who have backed Ollie and said Ollie in at the beginning, like some of us, we believe that he's not. That we didn't believe that he was going to take us to the top and win trophies. What I believed anyway is that he was going to bring us back to a style of play, or to at least for us to be able to recognize Man United as a club that we once recognized them to be before Jose and all the madness. We believe that he was a good manager. You know, he will get the players playing for the shirt again, playing for the club, and the 4-3-3 system that he brought in, he would bring in, and he would buy players who, you know, brought a benefit to the club. You know what I mean? Players who, you know, understood the values or had the ethos that Man United had. So when that started disappearing and he wasn't playing 4-3-3 and he was changing week in, week out, and then the good players that he brought in, he weren't playing, he was benching, we were thinking, hold on, we supported you because we thought he was going to bring this in. Now you're not doing it. We're just going to go and call for the manager who we believe is going to take us to the full ticket. That's all the Ollie. That's me as an Ollie out. Because I just thought the only reason I never wanted Poch at the beginning, because I thought to myself, what I believe Poch is guaranteed to do is only what I believe Ollie can reach as a ceiling. So I thought Poch was guaranteed to let us finish top 4, have a good through competition, like have a couple good runs in the cup games, and to build a style of play and a system that Man United fans would appreciate and would see goals, and we wouldn't be stagnant and scared of the opposition. I believed, hold on, if that's Poch's standard, I believe that's Ollie's ceiling, and he can do it if we let him do that. He can, you know, give us a style of play, get us back in the Champions League, consistently in the top 4. Let him do that. When I saw the man struggling, and we was in 17th and all of that, I said, boy, he can't do it. So if he can't do it, let me go and back the manager who I believe can get us to the top. So it's not even a disrespect on Ollie, because no one's going to say that the man's got the credentials to do what he's doing. So we're going to have a leap of faith. You're asking the whole Man United fan base to have a leap of faith on someone who's never done it and is not proven to be able to do it. So if some of us don't have the same leap of faith as you can't diss man for that, because you're not telling us to get behind a Klopp, to get behind a Pep, to get behind someone who we know has done it. It like Jose, when people said get behind him, even though I didn't fancy him, on the basis of what he had done, I had to get behind him.
No, I wasn't.
You know
That's the difference between me and you, because I'm like 12. I knew what was coming, bro. I didn't get behind, and I was like, the biggest thing about Man United, I remember in the press conference when Jose wear that nice white shirt and that suit, you know what I mean, looking dapper. First of all, I didn't like, even though I'm a fan, I'm emotional, I didn't like the way they sacked Van Gaal. And I knew it was a Woodward tactic. Van Gaal has got the trophy in front of him now, that at Wembley, and journalists are telling him you're getting sacked. Like that to me, I thought, there's certain way to do, there's certain clubs that do certain things, but the way they did that was skullduggery on the highest level. For me, I never had any problem like with the Ollie out brigade, because I can understand that. But like you always said, Musa, you sum it up, bro. And that always comes to mind. When you can't bully the bigger man, you always go for the little man that you can bully. So you always go get the manager out, because as the football fans, that's the way we're conditioned. Yeah. We're always conditioned to call for the manager, knowing that Ollie's inexperienced. Ollie's never been, so let me just call this guy, Faisal. Chill guy, don't take it to heart. Give the manager time to build. Ollie's basically the fourth to management.
Guys, I'm gonna have to leave you. Sorry, I'm gonna have to leave you right now.
Come on, big up, man, big up.
Big up everyone, yeah. Peace.
When this is finished, I might be able to jump on, bro. But anyway, right? So I just want to say this. To me, all it is about, and Musa and 12 man you can agree or disagree. I always said, for Ollie to be Man United manager, you need a structure around him because of the inexperience. You need a proper coaching. You need the infrastructure. Even if Poch was to come in, I weren't having it that Poch without infrastructure. The same people, not all of them, but some of the people who are Ollie out in 2 years' time would have been screaming Poch out. Because Poch, like Ollie, can go on a mad runs and can get beat, like not win 3 or 4 or 5 games. At Man United, if you don't win 5 or 6 games, you're under pressure. Hence, that's why you and Aaron, that when we're 17th, man, are saying, yo, out. Because no man, there's certain things that can be accepted.
Champions League as well.
Yeah, but no man can be accepted. But if Man United are 17th with all the players we've got, regardless of what, you're out, okay? So for me, it's always about giving credit. It's when a manager's doing good, you give credit. When you have to constructive criticism, and that's all I ask about. So when Ollie does something, for me, like Aaron, I'm devastated. And all you man watch football, so everybody will watch football. We needed 1 point from 2 games, but after Istanbul, it was no longer in our own hands, and that's why I agree with 12 man. And to me, in all my years of watching football, I will never see a Benny Hill goal. I call it the Benny Hill goal. That goal we conceded, I've given it a name. It's Benny Hill all day. Some of you don't know who Benny Hill was. Just type in Benny Hill theme tune, Benny Hill comedy, right? And then you'll see what we're talking about. So for me, Ollie debate is that so far so good, but I ain't getting too gassed, and I ain't getting too going.
You know what?
I always look at the whole thing. And I see 3 bankers running Man United: Matt Judge, Woodward, Richard Arnold. And for me, when you got 3 bankers making football decisions, and the biggest thing, even though deep down I'm like, Ollie's struggling here, is Ollie needs to go. Is something can be managed if Ollie needs to go. I'm looking at thinking, why should you, Woodward, hire a manager and then sack the next manager when you've got rid of 4? So what gives you the right to do that? In any other industry, bro, in banking, in finance, in any other major industry in the world, even if you go by the logic that we all know, we're not a football team, we are a corporation, right? In any corporation, when you've hired as a CEO, when you've hired 4 or 5 people, right, and you've had to sack them and get rid of them, your position becomes untenable. I've seen that working in the arts. I've seen that, right? With my own eyes. I've experienced that and seen that. So, Man United for me and Ollie, and even though your new mans are talking about we're in a title race, we're in a title race because it's a strange season. But I still go back to it. At 20 to 25 games, if see where we are, then we might be in a title race. So I'm not getting too gassed with Ollie now, and I'm not the type of fan to go.
You know what it is, though?
Let's sum up the podcast. Everyone get their final thoughts in before we wrap up this podcast.
I don't necessarily think that it's about Ollie being great or this, that, and other, us having to be much better than Liverpool. We don't have to be much better than Liverpool. We need 3 points every game. That's it. Like, it's not about who plays better and who has the better stats and who keeps the ball better and who passes it better. It's not about that when you're trying to win a title. Like, and by the way, the only reason I'm even half entertaining this 21 and 21 is purely because of this season, the type it is. I'm basing context. Again, I'm looking at the things of this season. I'm also looking at our improvement. I'm looking at the quality of our... You know what the deepest thing for me is? I'm looking at the number of our squad. Jordan Henderson is playing centre-back tonight for Liverpool. Yeah, and Klopp is saying they're not buying anyone in January. Now, not to say that that's going to necessarily affect them negatively or like they can't get away with it for a couple of games and then get their players back. Fine. But when I look at our squad, especially if we do buy one centre-back in January, especially if Lindelof is out for the season, I think we have, like you said, 2 11s. I think that's another big factor. I think we don't always play the most high-intensity football a lot of the time. So I think that also plays for us in the second half of the season, the same way it does for Jose. That's why he's always able to finish strong, because his teams don't run. They just defend. You know what I mean? So they always have the legs to carry on later on. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So, like, I look at these different factors and I look at how Liverpool play. I'm not worried about Leeds, because I would never worry about Leeds, but like I would never worry about them anyway, because they can't play like that for a whole season in the Premier League. You know what I mean? Like, look at Leicester. They fell off last season. Same thing. Injuries will start to catch you. Everton, same thing. It's going to start. Anyone who plays this high intensity football and you don't have enough of 2 11s, you're going to start feeling it. So I'm saying to you, I'm basing a lot of how this season is set up is why I think that there's a chance. But like you said, Nuruddin, you won't really take it seriously until a certain point of the season. I only ever look at it in the final third.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, your final thoughts.
So now it's fun to just get into their heads, bro. Because right now, Liverpool fans are all biting. They're all biting.
Yeah, my thing is I agree because I feel like there's 6 points between top and ninth, and I feel like at this 8th stage of the season, if Man United was 6 points behind, if a good Man United, if Sir Alex Ferguson was 6 points behind Arsenal, we would be in a title race. A good solid Man United at this time of the season, had we been 6 points behind Arsenal, we would be in a title race. So that being the fact that for me, if there's only 6 points between first and ninth, if we're in it, everyone else is in it. Because 6 points is 2 games. So you can't be 6 points. Like, as an example, if Man City are 5 points behind Liverpool and they're sitting in 8th, are they not in the title race even though they're in 8th? Because it's the points that matter. You know what I mean? And I just feel like the Premiership this season is like the Championship, where everything's staggered. The people at the bottom and the people at the top. Because for me, that's why you go from 8th and then 3 games later, you're second in the league. 2 points off the top, and everyone's saying you're in a title race. So for me, if Man United is in a title race, so is every team within that 6 point gap. And if we're not, because there's no way, if I support one of these teams that's 6 points off the top, and we're here this stage of the season, you're telling me my team's not in a title race. I had an Arsenal man ring me yesterday and say, if United's in a title race, we're in it. He said to me, he goes, we're 10 points off the top. He goes, we can claw back 10 points. He goes, you lot did it and finished third. He goes, you claw back 14.
3 games to finish behind the third place team or the second place team.
No, but he said we claw back 14 points. He said if you can claw back 14 points last year to get third.
Between us and top though. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So,
no,
like,
but I'm just saying it's just points. At the end of the day, he's just saying we can claw back 10 points. Why can't we? We've got enough.
You're right. In theory, there's no reason like any one of those. That's why I do Upwatch, bro. Like, because that technically all of them are in this. Everyone's in. All of us are in this race. It's very tight, as we've seen a couple of weeks ago. Chelsea, well, Tottenham were first. They dropped down to 8th. Now they're back up into the top 4. I think. Yeah. Like Chelsea were ahead of us. And now they're 8th. Arsenal were in 15th. And now they're like a couple points behind Chelsea. It's all mad. Like,
Everton went there, then they went. Now they're back.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly. Because it's so early still, there hasn't been a gap. Usually by Christmas, we would have played 5 or 6 more games.
So, your final thoughts. Your final thoughts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, your final thoughts, Gordon, before we kind of wrap up this podcast. It's been a good one, man.
You know what? I'm dyslexic, so I don't know what that guy was talking. Whoever
said, come on, Gordon, why are you not happy of Ollie while he's doing it great for this club? Because
I am happy, but I'm not getting overexcited. I am not overexcited kind of person. I only get excited when I think that Man United gets. I told you all the time on the Straight podcast, right? Watch all the other podcasts. The day you see man getting excited is when we sign a top-notch director of football, when I see a proper structure, when I see a proper medical team, and then I see us literally having a proper consistency in our team. And I'm still unsure. You know what I mean? I look at Chelsea, everybody's like, Frank Lampard, great. Look at him mashing up all these league. He's going to win the league, and look where they are now, right? So it can go as quickly, it can go amazing. It can go back down to where we are, right? 8th or 9th or whatever. So it's a strange season. In the far as we're in a title race because it's a strange season. Because 6th to all the way up to 8th, everybody's in a title season. Like you said, bro. Like you said, it's a championship kind of like championship kind of madness.
It's a scramble this year. It's who's going to be the most consistent. Yeah. That's what it's going to be. Who's picking up the most points.
Yeah. So after 25 games, Saeed, with everything you have to cope with, the trials and tribulations, and Man United to win the league, Man United will have to beat Liverpool away. Will have to beat like Chelsea away. Will have to beat Arsenal away. Will have to take points of those teams who are also in the league. Tottenham away. So all this now, nothing that suggests to me that we're going to go on that kind of. We can beat them, but there's nothing suggesting to me. So after 25 games, we will all know what has happened and where we are. So it's always Man United always finish, regardless whatever the manager is. We always play better as it gets a bit warmer. We get out of winter. We get into March, April. United always steam. We're on that steam train. So if we're there or thereabouts, right? If we're there or thereabouts by March, April, then I can say, you know what, we're 100% out because we're nearly always halfway. And the thing about Ollie is that I give Ollie all the credit because, like I said to you, Ollie did something for me, which emotionally that I would, if I have children, I would always try to pass down to. People go, he just scored a goal in the last minute against. No, it's not just that. Ollie in that season banged in goals. He come on against Liverpool. There's no treble if Man United don't beat Liverpool at home and we're losing 1-0 and he don't score. So there was many things in that team, those players in that. If any of the players are managing, I would always, if it was Dwight York today or Andy Cole or any other man, I would still be buzzing because them man gave me the most joyous thing I ever, you know, as a football fan, I ever had. 99 is for me the pinnacle, like the pinnacle. After that, if United didn't win the league for another 20 years, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I seen Man United win the treble. So that's the reason why I have an emotional attachment to Ollie, but I don't get too carried away. And I'm hoping that the team continues. I hope that we stay away from injuries. And I think that one thing I do see more than I didn't see before, and sometimes maybe it's superficial because when you start losing, maybe players will start shouting at each other. But there's a bit of togetherness. I didn't see that on Jose. There weren't none of that. It was the opposite.
Yeah. I've always said that. That's one thing I give Ollie credit. And just to kind of like close this up, you know, I mean, I think I've given one credit to Ollie is he's brought togetherness in the squad. I like this group of players. You know, I mean, I've not got no bad to say about the players. There's togetherness, there's unity. But I've always said, you know what I mean, we've seen good teams in the past, you know what I mean, have good teams and never win trophies. So for me, I'm going to see how it goes. We take it how it is, you know what I mean, and we go from there, man. You know what I'm trying to say to you?
No,
but guys,
no prediction.
Oh,
We're going
to do that. We're going to do that. We've got tomorrow's show. We're going to do it on tomorrow's show.
Okay.
We've got Man City coming up on Wednesday. That's a big game. Carabao Cup, another chance for Ollie to get over the hoodoo of semi-finals.
We need that cup. We need that cup. We do
need that cup. You know what I mean? So
do we though? Really? Do we? I don't
we do.
Nah, no,
I think this team needs to learn how to win. They need to learn how to win. They just need that.
Remember 2006, bro. Yeah, was it 2006? No, 2003. No, 2006. Yeah, or was it 2005 when we won the Carling Cup? Yeah, with Ronaldo and
Ronaldo, Rooney. Yeah,
remember that's just the time we had our transition. Yeah, we was in the transition after when Arsenal won it in 2004.
There you go. Then
Chelsea's back to back. That little cup there set a lot in motion. A lot in motion. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So
I remember how it felt like a moment at the time.
Yeah. Massive day tomorrow, you know what I mean, and hopefully we can get the result against City against Man City in the Carabao Cup, because I feel for me we still need a trophy. But guys, that's been a very, very, very good podcast. You get me 1 hour and a half. You get me. Big up to everybody who's joining for the podcast. This podcast has been sponsored by the One Football app. Make sure you go download it. Link in the description below. All your trades, transfer news, all your latest football news. Everyone watching from Spotify and Apple, iTunes. Make sure you give a review on the video. You get me. Also share the video as well. Also share the podcast on all your social platforms. Guys, it's been a pleasure, man. You know what I'm saying? Big up to everybody who's tuned in. We've had over 700 people already. You get me? So people, you get me? Like the video. Subscribe to That Central. 12th man, where can we find you, bro? Big up to you, 12th man.
Catch me on my YouTube channel, man. I'm going to just start posting most of my content just on my YouTube channel from now, man. Might put little snippets out on YouTube, on Twitter and Insta. But yeah, man. Catch me at 12th Man Talks. It's the same on YouTube, 12th Man Talks TV. Yeah, just support the thing, man. It'd be great if you could come and join us over there.
Come on, man. Big up for whatever you're doing, man. You get me? All your graphics and whatnot, man. You know what, man? Big up to you, man. Nuruddin, where can the people find you, man? You know what I mean? You've been there.
On Twitter. I just want to shout out to the people watching. You know what? I think Aaron might be doing his preview for tomorrow. So
I think he's delayed it till tomorrow. 3 o'clock. I see it on his channel now. It says tomorrow 3 o'clock. So everyone tomorrow 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, like I said, let's just see what happens. But like I said, listen, I'm not like saying we don't want to win a cup, but I'm just saying that I always want to win any derby anyway. I'm Mancunian, mate. I want to win. I want to beat them. If it's a tongue cut, if there's like a throw-in, I want to beat Man City. I don't care. You know what I mean? Because it's a derby. But I'm just saying that the importance of the cup anyway. But hopefully we win and we get what we need to get into a final and see what happens. But yeah, that guy Red Devil, for all your therapeutic needs, always, people, always tell me. You can come at me.
Yeah, it's massive. Like I said, we lost 3 last year. We can't afford to lose another semi-final. It's just going to be 2p. But yeah, catch me on Resole CIC. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and yeah, man, that's the work that we're doing. Resole CIC. Just check me out. And yeah, man, thanks for having me on again, Said. You know, the channel's going from strength to strength. It's amazing work that you're doing at the Central. Massive. Big shout outs.
Come on, man. Big up to you. Big up to Russo and all that what they're doing for charity. Get me. We'll be watching this Liverpool game in anticipation. Hopefully we can do that. And also, guys, make sure you're gonna have a new year, man. You know what I mean? It's a new year 2021. If you have any goals, attack them. You know what I mean? Let's hope for positivity, happiness. You get prosperity. I wish you all the success for the new year. So yeah, man, big up to you guys. We come on here. It's a platform for debate, platform for kind of opinions. So that's all we do, man. We promote opinions. And we promote debate. So guys, like the video, subscribe to United Central. I will see you for the podcast 106 next week, same time, 6 p.m. on Monday. Guys, take care. Bye-bye and peace, people.
Peace out.